You actually pregnant?
I can be sad with you. Just take my hand and fly out through the dreams where the skies are so clear.
I just took a pregnancy test. I feel like I can already see the
I
line.
wanna stay with you.
Okay, so today is my first appointment and I am getting ready to go. I'm almost done. I just need to brush my teeth. My first appointment, I am 8 weeks and probably 6 days. This is based on my own math, but they usually go off of the last date or your last period. So I'm gonna stick with that. So like I said, I'm 8 weeks, almost 9 weeks pregnant. It doesn't look like that. I'm pretty bloated. And this is partially because I'm not a really thin woman, but I can definitely tell my belly is so much more bloated than it should be. So I'm gonna go in. Unfortunately, Robert is gonna have to stay home with Lucas because he's sick and we don't really wanna take him anywhere where he could get someone else sick. So I'm going by myself, which is a little nerve-wracking, but I'll check in on the way. Hey guys, so I am done with my appointment and I'm actually sitting at Chick-fil-A waiting for a curbside order. But I wanted to talk to you about how my appointment went. I got to go right in and I had an ultrasound done first, and I'll share that footage with you because I was able to record it. Since my husband wasn't able to come, they allowed me to film it, so, or at least a section of it. So I will insert that here.
So this is baby's head here. You see the little arm buds here, little leg buds. This is the body, and there's the heart just a beating away. We're gonna listen to it for just a second. There you go. And we're going to measure it and see how fast it's going, and then that'll be the end of the video, okay? 178 beats per minute.
Wow.
Yep.
And then I went to talk to my doctor and go over some things because we had some issues in my last pregnancy, and I'll just kind of cover those right now. Basically, I have a cyst on my cervix, and it was pretty large when I was pregnant with Lucas. So I ended up being considered high risk. I actually dealt with infertility, as a lot of you guys already know. When I got pregnant with Lucas, we were seeing a fertility specialist and on medication and all of that. So I was already kind of high risk anyway. But because of the cyst, they wanted me to go in for like monthly ultrasounds with a specialist. So I did that, and there's someone who just parked right in front of me. But that's okay. I'm just FaceTiming. So anyway, I had it monitored throughout the entire pregnancy with Lucas until I was about 27 weeks. But that specialist actually was not concerned about it. It didn't cause any issues. They were more worried about it being in the way if I were to deliver naturally or vaginally. Anyway, they stopped doing ultrasounds around 27 weeks. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, it was around 27 weeks. And then I ended up going in at 40 weeks and they did an ultrasound because obviously he hadn't come yet. Okay, so I just got my food. So when I went in for my ultrasound at 40 weeks with Lucas, they discovered that he was probably going to be extremely huge, and I had extra fluid. It's called polyhydramnios. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I'll include the name of that on the screen. And so what that is when you have extra amniotic fluid in there, and there's lots of concerns with that because your uterus, I mean, obviously you could go into, I don't know, your water could break, and if that were to happen, the pressure of it would be so strong that like the cord could come out, which is an emergency situation. And because he was so big, there were lots of concerns, and that's why we ended up choosing to do a C-section. So my whole point in saying this is when I brought up these concerns with the doctor and I talked to her about whether or not I would be high risk this time because I still have that cyst, she kind of left it up to me, and that just feels weird because it's like I'm choosing whether or not to be high risk, and no one really wants to be high risk. You do get a lot more ultrasounds when you are, but it just seems like a silly reason if there's not going to be any concerns. So part of me just kind of wanted to see if they would just monitor the situation themselves a little bit more closely to make sure everything was happening correctly. But my biggest concern is really being in that same situation towards the end of my pregnancy. But she wasn't so concerned about it. She said that I'm probably just someone who has bigger babies, and that there's really not anything I can do about that. I asked her if maybe I had undetected gestational diabetes, and that was because the doctor who I did the C-section with said that that was possible. Like, he's the one that brought that to my attention. So she just said, you know, I should watch my sugar and carb intake anyway, just to be healthy. But regardless, there's nothing that I could do to prevent this baby from being big or whatever. So also, because I had a C-section before and I had such a pleasant experience with the doctor who did it, I'm doing that again. Have a lot of back issues, so I think that's the safest route for me anyway. And she said that because it is going to be a scheduled C-section, that I would be delivering a week before my due date anyway. So I would be scheduled at 39 weeks for a C-section. So that is a little bit relieving to know that they're gonna at least probably look into the situation before 40 weeks, like unlike last time. I hope that makes sense. I hope I explained that well. But so we just determined that at my next appointment that we would do another ultrasound. I do feel like they kind of rushed through this one. Maybe that's normal, but I had so many ultrasounds with Lucas, and they were looking into so many things that maybe I'm just not used to it being a quick ultrasound. So yeah, I guess I'll just find out at my next appointment if this cyst is going to be more of a problem and decide then. I'm leaning towards not going to the specialist, but maybe just pressing them for another ultrasound as I get later in my pregnancy, if this baby is measuring big. Lucas was measuring big at every appointment. He was like 2 or 3 weeks ahead every time we went. So, but yeah, basically the baby's healthy, or looks healthy. The heart rate was 178, which is pretty high. I think Lucas's was around 168. I can look back at some footage and see if I can find that. But very relieving to know that the baby's fine. I am taking Unisom and B6 to help with nausea, and since I've started that, I have had no nausea, none. So like this past week, I've actually been kind of concerned and worried about this appointment because it just doesn't feel like I'm pregnant. But we saw the baby moving around and everything, so that was nice, relieving, and I'm really pregnant, you guys. It's for real, and it happened without interventions. So it's just a lot to take in. So anyway, I am gonna eat my food and I'm gonna let you guys go. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I am probably going to do weekly updates or updates on my pregnancy as we go, and I'm getting a look for still being in the curbside area. So I'm gonna go, but thank you again for watching. Subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I will keep you guys updated.
With you, I can be sad with you. Just take my hand and fly up through the dreams where the skies are so clear. With you, I